Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. Giving all praise to my Heavenly Father. His name is Yahweh, by Yeshim, Yahweh Shai, by Yeshim, Makah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders that rule well. Many salutations to y'all that's toiling in this truth. Just wanted to come with a quick sit down today. Just going into, just ensuring, that we keep, we're keeping our faith in the latter days. You know, um, you have a lot of people that's, perverting this truth for hidden agendas. Um, whether it be trying to make this truth more palatable to the world by going on podcasts and things of that nature. Um, or just, outright just changing the doctrine. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of this has to do with the fact that, Jake wants to be comfortable in this world. They don't want to go through that straight gate. Because, in order for us to pass through this straight gate, we must be willing to be immensely uncomfortable in this world. And that means what? Being hated by, the masses, being, broke. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna have the various business ventures that you could have had if you were in the world. Okay, you got to be frank. All right. Um, Certain relationships that you have, or you could have in the world, will be either severed or non-existent. And why is that? Well, you're falling after Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Right? This walk of ours takes an immense amount of faith that we're doing this work not in vain, bro. Okay, and a lot of people, they're getting disenfranchised with the walk. These guys like Genesis and things of that nature, they're getting disenfranchised with how stringent this thing of ours is. Right? When you read these scriptures are very so-called racist. That word racist, the word Raza, which means gene, right? In this particular book of ours is only alluding to the Bible, is only speaking about a group of people and their plight and their triumphs. Okay, it's not for everybody. Contrary to popular belief, right? In order for you to believe that, then guess what? You have to be extreme, okay? According to what the world perceives. All right. Right. And it takes, again, an immense amount of faith. That word immense means a lot, right? A very much amount of faith to endure what we are about to go through, y'all. It's not going to be very popular to be a Hebrew Israelite very soon, right? On top of, contemporarily speaking, right? Things are getting more difficult, in our personal lives. It's getting more difficult to live. Okay. All right. It's getting more difficult to feed ourselves. It's getting more difficult to make money, to save money. You know what I'm saying? On top of persecution, a lot of people are gonna lose their confidence in this walk of ours. And chiefly, I'm alluding to people that's not in GMS, right? Right, because they're not building up their congregation for what's about to happen. Okay, and what's about to happen is nothing nice. We talk about Jacob's trouble, we're about to be knee deep in it. And the Lord is going to take care of us, but it's not going to be pretty, bros. It's not going to be pretty, brothers. It's not. It's not going to be pretty, okay? But we have to have confidence that guess what? This world is fading, and we're moving on to the next, man. Okay? We're moving on to the next, so they can have this world. But it takes confidence in Yahweh Bashim Yahushua to have that mindset. Now I wanted to start. I'm referencing to Hebrews, and Paul wrote Hebrews because you had a lot of, well, they say Paul didn't write it, but I'm gonna say Paul wrote it. Paul wrote Hebrews because a lot of people were getting disenfranchised with basically the walk. You know, they thought that they were gonna be out. You know, when as soon as Yahushua came back and died, they thought, oh, okay, hey, the kingdom of heaven is gonna be set up. You know, and people were, you know, after the persecutions and endurance they was going through, people they were getting disenfranchised, man. You know, guys think they were getting locked up, bro. You know what I'm saying? Getting killed. You know what I'm saying? Seeing getting you know, kicked out of cities. Okay, they were going through it, right? They were going through it. You know what I'm saying? You know, but you know, people. And I said I'm just gonna say it's Paul because people make a strong argument that this Paul wrote it. If you do research on it, right? You know, the author wrote this. You know, this would be scholarly. The author wrote this to do what? To encourage these brothers to continue in the faith, man. Okay. I'm gonna get this out of my study Bible, the about the book of Hebrews. Okay, and the theme. I'm gonna get to the theme of it. It says the theme. It says first century Jewish Christians or Israelites were confronted with the anguish of having given up long held godly traditions only to experience increased persecution and unfulfilled promises. Both family and foe now harassed them. Further, Mashiach had not yet returned, and there was no apparent indication that his return and the restoration of Israel would ever occur. So here it is. You had the Israelites looking for the restoration of Israel. If you know this walk of ours was for everybody, and all the Gentiles that come in, why are they saying that? Why are these people looking for the restoration of Israel? What does that mean? That means restoring Israel on top to be rulers. That's what they were looking for. That's what we're looking for, right? But our forefathers, they were catching holy hell, man. Right? Right? The first generation of Christians had passed, and Israel was still unsaved. Outwardly, Mashiach remained unvindicated before many of them. The book of Hebrews is an exhortation to Jewish Christians to hold fast to their faith in Mashiach. You see that? So this book here is an exhortation for the Israelites to hold fast in the belief in Yahweh Shah, man. Okay. All right. So let's get to it. Now I have Hebrews the 10th chapter and the NIV. So I'm going to get this Hebrews 10 and 32. It says, remember those early days after you had received the light when you endured in a great conflict full of suffering. Sometimes you were publicly exposed to an insult and persecution. At other times, you stood side by side with those who were so treated. So they were catching persecution for this truth's sake, man. They were being insulted. They were being, persecuted. And we have numerous brothers that have testimonies about receiving this persecution You know what I'm saying? Now it's more, internet based. But you had actual brothers that have gotten, you know, uh, attacked for this truth, man. You know what I'm saying? Going through it. Brothers, hey man, almost lost families for this. You know, you know, all types of things going on in this truth, man. Right? But you have to hold fast to what you believe in. This is what the book of Hebrews is saying. Okay. All right. Sometimes you were publicly exposed to insult and persecution. At other times, you stood side by side with those who were so treated. You suffered along with those in prison and joyfully accepted the confiscation of your property because you knew that you yourselves had better and lasting possession. So do not throw away your confidence. It will be richly rewarded. That's right. When you fresh in this thing and cops rolling up on you, pulling up on you, people coming out there and protesting against you, man, it's exciting because hey man, we ain't got too much longer. You first get in this truth, you think, oh man, I got 2 years time. Man, I ain't worried about no bills. I ain't worried about this. As you get older, you realize, oh, I got to be more mindful. I have to be more circumspect, right? Right. I have to walk a certain way in this truth of ours. I have to be mature in my everyday life. So that balance of everyday life and this walk, becomes more apparent, which leads to bitterness in a lot of ways, man, because you're looking for a different expectation, right? And you can find yourself trying to, forge yourself in this world, right? And getting frustrated behind that and shying away from the ministry. You know what I'm saying? Right? You know, it's definitely a balance. And that balance can lead to bitterness. If you throw away your confidence in the Lord, we have to understand that we're doing this for a certain reason. You know what I'm saying? And guys that have taken on this walk of ours, you know what I'm saying, for hidden genders, you know, yeah, they used to talk about kingdom and rulership and things of that nature. But in order for them to receive more money, more compensation, what are they doing? Well, guess what? They're mixing, mingling this truth in order for them to gain more money, bro. So they threw away their confidence, right? Verse 36, Hebrews 10 and 36. You need to persevere so that when you have done the will of the Most High, you will receive what He has promised. For in a little while, He who is coming will come and will not delay. And but my righteousness one will live by faith. And I not take no pleasure in the one who shrinks back. Right? To those who shrinks back, the Most High not going to take pleasure in them, man. Who goes back to the world, and a lot of people that are doing that by perverting these scriptures. See what I'm saying? First Timothy 4:1. Now the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the last times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils, speaking lies and hypocrisy, having their conscience seared with an hot iron. And this is what we see. These guys are speaking lies and hypocrisy. One blatant hypocrisy is the fact that they were selling these breakdowns, and they claimed that they wasn't fully persuaded at the time, alluding to these breakdowns or these classes, seminars on how to air quote cut a Christian on Gentile salvation. You know, that's a clear contradiction. And now they're changing it up to say, you know what, we messed up. We're not gonna give you money back. But what we'll do is we'll just give you discount on the next the next seminar, okay? You know, belittling their congregation. But they're doing that for a hidden agenda, brothers. All right. And now if you look here, hopefully brothers can see it above here, above the chapter that says apostasy. This is what's going to happen. All right. This is what's going on. Apostasy is going on. Let's look up that word. Okay. Oh boy. That word apostasy. Hopefully it pulls up. There we go. The abandonment or renunciation of a religious or political belief. Did not Hakai and the other guy said, we're not a part of that community anymore. Like, we just can't be a part of that community anymore. It's hateful. When this guy has videos of himself slapping an Edomite on camera, putting it in slow motion, supposedly knocking out an Edomite, which, it was fake. Right? Now, he decides that all that stuff was wrong. And, he's confident now that Gentiles, if they repent and keep the commandments, and not even believe in Yahweh, which is weird, right? Not even teaching them about Yahweh, they can make it. Okay? This guy is committing apostasy. Well, why is that? Well, he has a hidden agenda. Okay? He has a hidden agenda. Anytime you are in business, a very important aspect of business is marketing. You want to ensure that the audience that you are trying to attract knows who and where you are, so you can persuade them to try out your business. Okay? If you have, a pizza joint, or say for instance, let's refine that. You hear about a new pizza joint in your neighborhood, and how do you hear about it? Right? You might get a little postcard to say, "Hey, we're open for business. It's Tony's Pizza. Come and check us out." A little postcard. You might see it in a local magazine, right? Right. If they got real money, you might see a little cheesy commercial. Why are they doing these things? Well, it's marketing. It's marketing. They're trying to get you to come in to do what? To attract you, right? Now, along with marketing is PR campaigns, public relation campaigns. In order for you to attract more people, you want to ensure that your public image, is palatable. It's easier to digest. It's easy to digest, right? Right. You're seen as somebody who's a likable person. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that's you're trustworthy, somebody that they could do business with you, somebody that you could do business with. Well, this is what Hakai is doing. You know what I'm saying? He's on a PR, he's on a PR campaign to make himself look more reasonable to the masses. See here, here at GMS, it's the exact opposite. We don't mind being talked about. In fact, we understand that, guess what? This is a part of the walk. The part of the walk is persecution. The part of the walk is being ostracized from society, and also even your family. Your family's not gonna fuck with you like that. Excuse my language, because you and them have different. You have different ideologies, and these different ideologies are going to clash. Now you could be at peace with them. You know what I'm saying? You can have a level of they have a level of respect for you, and vice versa. But guess what? Y'all two ain't gonna mix and match. Okay, and you have to be okay with that. And you have to be okay with not not just having a bad relationship with your family, but your family actually hating you. In the times to come. All right. For what you believe in. You know what I'm saying? Being ostracized. You have to be okay with that, bro. Why is that? Because you understand that, guess what? Or we understand that, guess what? We're right. They're wrong. Okay. These people want this messed up world to continue, man. This alphabet community world to continue. Right? This world that's built on usury and false balance to continue. This world that's built on Edomite supremacy, right? Esau will jump down, and all the other nations would look at us crazy for hood culture, which we do too. But to bat their eye at, goddamn me, Israel killing unaliving Palestinians, committing the genocide, right? You have to be willing to be contrary to this world in order to receive the kingdom of heaven. Okay. And most people, and it's truth, they're not willing to do that. They're not willing to. Matthew 5:10, blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you and say all manner of evil against you falsely for my name's sake. Right? So you have to be willing to go through these things. We have to be willing to go through these things. Right? Rejoice and be exceedingly glad, for great is your reward in heaven. So persecuted they the prophets which were before you. So we are simply taking on, the responsibilities of a prophet, man. Okay. And we have to know that for ourselves, individually speaking, that we are right, and what you have invested in for yourself, for your salvation, is right. You have to be self convinced or convicted, right? For yourself that this is right. Okay? Nobody can do that for you. You have to have it for yourself. And we're starting to see a lot of people, they're playing the blame game. They're speaking on stuff that they weren't even a part of in order for them to rationalize their apostasy. Case in point, how Kai say, "Oh well, One West, and you wasn't there at One West, bro. You didn't teach, you didn't learn the doctrine of One West. You were in the doctrine of the elders and the apostles and the elders of GMS. Why you even talk about One West, bro? None of us was there, bro. So what are you talking about, man? What are you talking about, bro? You weren't there. You're just making an excuse, okay? Because you want to sell out. You're on a PR campaign so you could attract more people so you could get more money, bro. Just keep it a buck. All right. All right. Back to it. Back to the scriptures. The point is in the eighth verse here in Luke, the 18th chapter in the KJV, but I'll start at 1. And he spake a parable unto them to this end, that man ought always to pray and not to faint. All right. So we have to pray continually to be in his faith, man. Keeping your faith is a full-time job, brothers. Satan, you know what I'm saying, he's trying to take you out. He's a roaring lion seeking who he may devour. You know what I'm saying? And he had different ways to take you out, right? That's why all of us have different walks and different fights and different hells, man, that we have to endure. Some more obvious than others. Some, you know what I'm saying, more physical than others. Some more mental, but it's a fight out here, bro. That's why we have to pray without ceasing. You know what I'm saying? Because Satan is a roaring lion devouring who he may seek, who he may kill, who he may take out here, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's why you have to have confidence in what you're saying and what you're preaching for yourself and not for anybody else. This thing of ours ain't for cutting somebody. This dude, Hakai, and the other guy built the whole congregation off of cutting people. And what's ironic about this, they didn't even believe. Think about that, bro. Here you are cutting people, this person, that person, and you didn't believe. They threw their confidence away. They threw it away, brother. You know? That's why you have to pray. We have to pray, man. You know? Pray to the Heavenly Father for belief and strength of the mind. Okay? Because this world is a landmine, man. Okay? A spiritual landmine out here. This is Luke 18:1, and he spake a parable unto them to this day, to this end, Salakia, that man ought always to pray and not to faint, saying there was in a city a judge who feared not the Most High, neither regardeth man. And there was a widow in that city, and she came unto him, saying, avenge me of my adversary. And he would not for a while, but afterward he said within himself, though I fear not the Most High, nor regard man, yet because this widow troubleth me, I will avenge her, lest by her continual coming she weary me. And the Lord said, hear what the unjust judge saith, and shall not the Most High avenge his own elect, which cry day and night unto him, though he bear long with them? What does that mean? That means the Most High is hearing the elect, even though they, guess what? He put them through a lot of trials and tribulations, dog. He hears us, but guess what? We have to go through a lot. We have to go through a lot in order to get to that. We say we have to go through the straight gate, right? Where there's a lot of shit that has to happen. And sometimes when you pray, guess what, brothers? Sometimes the Lord will say no, too. You think, oh, man, I got this situation. And, man, the Lord just so bless me, dog. Thank you, Lord. I needed this gig, man. I needed this crib, man. I needed this. And they'll be like, nope. I was just playing. I need you to suffer a little bit more, dog. Hey, you know, what can you do? But keep on going forward, man. That's all you can do. You got to just keep on pushing, keep on moving forward. Keep moving forward. You know what I'm saying? Keep moving forward. Endure. Constantly endure. Right? That's what it's saying right there. Right? Think about what we just read in Hebrews, man. The brothers are getting persecuted, property confiscated from them. Right? Hey, man, as a man, when you can't feed yourself, man, you feel hopeless, bro. especially if you got family, man. All types of demons attack you. You know, you start getting attacked. You know, you know, it, it's a sense of helplessness. That's where prayer comes in. Okay, okay. So even though the Most High hears us, guess what? We still have to go through things, brothers. We still have to go through things. Okay. Now, certain situations arise, it can get from bad to worse. We got to be willing to ride the wave. Okay. Keep your head down and keep your faith up, Akia. All right. Back to it. Verse 8. I tell you that he will avenge them speedily. Nevertheless, when the Son of Man cometh, shall he find faith on the earth? Right? So though we're going through things, constantly enduring, the Lord's going to avenge us, but you have to be we have to be willing to go through these things. Will he find faith on the earth? Do you know what I'm saying? You know? You know? Now this is First Corinthians 15 and verse 58. I used to bring this out so much when I was I used to bring this out. Man, this used to be one of my go-to scriptures, man. You know, this used to be one of my go-to scriptures when I was coming in. I was coming up, you know what I'm saying? I understand now why. You know, it's good. It's easy to tell somebody else to man up. You know what I'm saying? But when it's time for you to man up and you do man up, you understand certain scriptures more. You see what I'm saying? These scriptures pop out the pages to you once you go through trials and tribulation. The Lord wants to feel these scriptures. He wants to feel them like, man, like you gotta feel this. You know what I'm talking about? You gotta feel this, man. This thing gotta touch you. You know, that's why you go through trials. You gotta be touched by it, like, man, okay, I see it now. Right? I see it now, Lord. First Corinthians 15 and 58. Therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the Lord, in the work of the Lord, for as much as ye know that your labor is not in vain in the Lord. So we're going through these things, right? We're going through these things because we understand. Guess what? Our labor is not in vain, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, our labor is not in vain. Okay, we're not doing this thing to be, you know, for empty lip service. We're not doing this thing because we just mad. We're just mad white folks, y'all. No, man. We're fighting for something way bigger, something that we can't even fathom. Right? We can articulate it to our best of our ability with these PM bodies, but how can you fathom forever? How can you understand and see a whole nation of not sinning, man? You know what I'm saying? That's what we're fighting for. And not only we're fighting for that, but we're fighting to usher that in to be forerunners of that nation that's going to last forever. See what I'm saying? You know, you have to know for yourself that we ain't doing this for vain, right? Right? Don't throw away your confidence. Okay. James 5 and 8. Be ye also patient. Establish your heart, for the coming of the Lord draweth nigh. Right? Establish your heart. Right? Establish your heart, your mind. Right? Understand the Lord is coming back. Okay? And you just going in on these false prophets, I see. I'll read them for you. Hey, 1 John 4:1, King James Version. Uh, Beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirit whether they are of the Most High, because many false prophets are going out into the world. That's right. There's a lot of people that's changing up for a piece of change. Okay. Matthew 7:15. Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. That's right. So these guys with that, uh, the whole um, fake humble crap, but really they have a hidden agenda, and that's to the pockets. John 10:12. But he that is a hireling and not a shepherd, who own the sheep or not, who own the sheep or not, seeth the wolf coming and leaveth the sheep and fleeth, and the wolf catches them and scattereth the sheep. And this is what was going on. A lot of people that's following after these guys, they already thrown away their confidence. They're not worried about the MOT and things of that nature, right? So when all hell break loose, they're not going to have a foundation, because that foundation wasn't Yahweh with the spirit of Yahweh, the spirit of prophecy, right? And the times that we're coming into, man, I have a feeling we're going to flourish because we've been waiting for this time. And like that song, Phil Collins, Feel It in the Air Tonight. He says, yeah, I can feel it in the air tonight. I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. Okay. Let me see if all right, am I still playing? Let's see. See, it kind of rebooted on me. Okay, I'm still rolling. Right? We're gonna be fine that day. Why is that? Because we know we've been getting ourselves ready for the times that's coming. The only way you get yourself ready is really spiritually, man. Okay. Isaiah 33:6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times and strength of salvation. Right? Really, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times and strength of salvation. The fear of Yahweh is his treasure. The Lord is going to save us by this wisdom that he's bestowed unto us. Right? We're going to be able to maneuver in the times that's coming. Okay? Behold, the valiant ones shall cry without. The ambassadors of peace shall weep bitterly. The highways lie waste. The welfare of man ceases. Right? The highways are laid waste. Right? These highways are going to be destroyed. Welfare of man, the traveling man is going to cease. He hath broken the covenant. He hath despised the cities. He regardeth no man. What is it talking about? Martial law. Okay. The earth mourneth and languishes. Lebanon is ashamed and hewed down. Sharon is like a wilderness, and Bashan and Kamal shake off their fruit. This is all cities in Israel. Okay. Now will I rise, saith Yahweh. Now will I be exalted. Now will I lift up myself. Ye shall conceive chaff. The chaff is like the useless parts of the wheat. You know what I'm saying? Ye shall bring forth stubble. Your breath as fire shall devour you. And the people shall be as the burning of lime, and thrones cut up shall they be burnt in the fire. Hear, ye that are far off, what I have done, and ye that are near, acknowledge my might. The sinners of Zion are afraid. Filthiness has surprised the hypocrites. Who among us shall dwell with the devouring fire? Who among us shall dwell with everlasting burning? Right? So when these people see our these prophecies come to pass, these hypocrites, these of nature, man. Hey, guess what, man? They're gonna be in straits, man. Jake ain't thinking about martial law like that. Jacob ain't thinking about Jacob's trouble. Hakai ain't thinking about that. They don't preach it. They don't talk about it. Right? They're too busy ripping pages at the Bible. And then gluing them back on in their convenience, like toddlers. Okay? So, hey, when all hell breaks loose, bro, these people gonna be in straits. He that walketh righteously and speaketh uprightly, he that despises the grain of oppressors, that shaketh the hand from holding of brides, that stoppeth his ears from hearing of blood, and shutteth his eyes from seeing evil, he shall dwell on high. His place of defense shall be the munition of rocks. Bread shall be given him. His waters shall be sure. That's right. To those that have, fought to keep this this truth pure, this understanding pure, that's who the Most High is going to deal with in the days that are coming. And they're fastly approaching, Akim. They're fastly approaching, bro. Right? Right? This Walker Bars is very, very precise. Okay? And these guys have sold out because they want the bag. Their confidence not in the Lord, their confidence in themselves and their worldly knowledge, and not the knowledge of Yahweh Bisham Hawashai. Okay? Things are going to get tight. Things are tight, and they're going to get tighter, brothers. The ministry is going to go to the next level. If you're a brother that's under GMS but not in GMS, you get my drift. It'll behoove you, bro, to try to get to the nearest camp. Get to the nearest camp. You know what I'm saying? Because we know what time it is, right? Prayers edifying. Shalom.